Hello. What I want to do here for a minute or so, a couple minutes, is to do a little bit of troubleshooting. What we have is a situation that we have Windows deployment services as well as DHCP installed on a Windows Server 2008. This is the DHCP server. When we open it up in IPv4, we have the server running, the green up arrow key. We have scopes, and the scopes are activated because we have the deactivated. We don't have anything that indicates otherwise. We also have a scope, not a big scope. We have an address pool. We don't have any leases, reservations. None of those things are configured. But whenever we start a machine configured to get an IP address automatically on this network, it doesn't. One of the tools that we can use to find out what's using what, and I've already got the command in here, is the Netstat-A-O-P, and what I want to look at is the UDP protocol, because I want to know what's using my DHCP ports. DHCP is a UDP protocol. So if we do that and let this thing run for a few seconds, go down to the bottom, we see that 67 and 68 as well as 69 here and 88 are being used by process ID 2916. In order to find out what that process ID is, we can go into Task Manager, and I've already arranged these things so that the process ID is going to show up in order. So we go down here and find 2916, and we find that it is Windows Deployment Server, not DHCP, that has captured the ports that are required for DHCP to give out its addresses. To correct that, we'll go here and open the Windows Deployment Server, go to the server that we have into the properties. PXE response is set correctly because we're trying to do a PXE and install it, and it's not answering either, obviously, because DHCP is not working. When we go into DHCP, we find that do not listen on port 67 and DHCP option 60 to PXE client is not checked. What this tells the system is that the DHCP server is running on this machine. So when we do that and go back and restart our services, and what I'm probably going to do is just reboot the machine, we should then have DHCP running on the correct ports. Let me say, okay, I'm going to pause the video while I do a restart, and that's all I'm going to do right here is a restart. Okay, as you can see, the reboot's complete. Configuration panel is open, so we can close it. Let's go down here now and open our command prompt again and use the netstat command. Netstat-A-O for the process, -P for the protocol UDP. And when we do this and let it go through its thing, notice the process IDs are over here on the right. And we get down here, 67 is 1756. Let's go back to the Task Manager and see what 1756 is. See if we've fixed our issue. Haven't checked this, so first time I may be in for a shock here. Let's go on down until we find, what if we're going to find 1756 DHCP server. So the DHCP server can now function, and it is allowed to listen on the DHCP ports and give out addresses on the DHCP ports. I'm going to pause this and go to a workstation that's actually on this network and try a renew and see if we can get an address from this DHCP server now. Okay, we're on a client machine that's attached to the same network. Go up here, it has a 169.254 address, which, as you recall, means that I've tried to contact the DHCP server and nobody will talk to me. So let's go down here and see if we can get an address now. I may have a mess. Now I got the 192.168.3.111, which I think, if you'll remember, was within the scope. That was the first address on the scope of the in the DHCP server. The reason this happened is that Windows Deployment Services was installed before the DHCP server. So when it detected that there wasn't a DHCP server running on this particular server, it didn't ask about anything. It just assumed that, hey, we're going to have a DHCP server on a different machine. Then we install the DHCP server, but WDS was already listening on that port for DHCP services. That's a quick overview of what might happen to you, and demonstrates that the order that things are installed on these servers can make a difference. With that, I would like to thank you for watching and hope this has been useful. Thank you.